This week on the Pete the Planner Show, we answer your questions because that's what this show is. It's your money questions answered. You can submit your questions by either calling us, which actually isn't an option at all. Don't do that. Or email us, askpete@petetheplanner.com. I guess you could submit a question on Twitter, but you only got a few letters to do it. So just do askpete@petetheplanner.com. That's askpete@petetheplanner.com. We answer your financial questions without trying to sell you things because we have nothing to sell you. I mean, you could buy one of my 10 books at Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble right now. Anyway, this week on the show, we're attacking several things. Near the end of the show, we're going to deal with how to break up with a financial advisor. How to break up with a financial advisor because you've moved on to another one. And then we're also going to talk about a guy who's got a lot of things happening in his life. And he's trying to make a lot of decisions at once, and one of those involved buying an engagement ring. So that's going to become two separate segments, and let's get started. Now, this week in USA Today, and you haven't even read it yet there. That's how fresh this radio show is in relation to the column. We had a guy write in. His name was Dylan, I think. I don't know. Hopefully his girlfriend doesn't listen because we're talking about engagement. I may have ruined everything. Okay, Dear Pete, I recently producer Nicole joins me on the show. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Pete.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Excited.
I'm excited.
Dear Pete, I recently graduated from college and have been working for 3 months. My net pay is $3,000 per month, and my monthly bills are only $500. So I have around $2,500 per month to plan for the future. I have a pension with the state, so 9% of my income is invested for the retirement right now with a match of 14%. Whoa. I travel each week, so I just live at my childhood home on the weekends to save money on rent. I have a girlfriend of 10 years begging me to put a ring on it, along with $8,000 in car debt, $34,000 in student loans, and the longing to buy some land and build a house once I do pop the question to my lady friend. I've embellished some of the words here. He didn't put lady friend. How much should I spend on a ring? And should I throw my money at debt first before I even think about putting a ring on it? Also, my girlfriend has been a nurse for 2 years and brings home around $2,800 per month. We would make enough income to afford a home together, but maybe we should rent for a year or two once we get married. That guy, I say the guy's, I don't know, let's just say guy's name's Wilhelm. We're giving people fake names.
It's better than calling him Pom Pom like we did to the $1
Oh, yeah.
million guest.
Lot here, Nicole. There's a lot here. So I will just say this. This sets up into a situation that many of us have been in where it feels like everything in your life is happening all at once. Whether you are talking about, getting a new job and then a new car, a new house, and having a baby all within like a 6-month period. Or maybe you are getting a new marriage or the first marriage or whatever in a new city and you get a new dog and you start grad school. Like there are times in our lives where everything happens at once. Nicole, have you been through one of those yet where everything happens at once? I think didn't you move into a place, get a new job, and not too long after that you got a car?
So it went new job, new place, new car. There was a little bit more time between the new place and the new car, but it's pretty rapid fire.
It was. It can be over. I've been there. I've been new house, new car, kind of new job. I don't know. I've had the same job my entire life. But it can be overwhelming, but we end up doing that to ourselves. Right? People do that to themselves all the time. So in this guy's situation, if you really break down, what are all the situations and components to this decision? He's got a retirement element, a current housing element, a transportation element, student loans, major consumer purchase in the form of a ring, which we're going to talk a lot about in the next segment, a marriage, future housing, and combining finances. All of those go into his question. Now, Nicole, sometimes in an email like this, it's sort of hard to figure out what the question is.
Right, because it's so buried underneath all the details.
Because I don't think the real question is how much ring can he afford?
No.
If that's the question he's asking, he misunderstands his problem. So we'll actually attack that question in an isolated mode in the next segment. Instead, I wanted to attack what is a really good question about a pretty complicated financial life. Let's start with retirement because it's always fun to start at the end. Based on what he told us, this is only based on what he told us, 23% of his current income, of course, some of it being contributed by his employer, is going toward his future self, his retirement. Nicole, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
In a good way.
Right. Yes. That's
And I don't want him to change that. I think this is where he's going to learn that financial life gets really complicated. So right now, 3 months into his career, that's his reality.
right.
If that remains his reality for his entire career, my man's going to be a millionaire easily, like multi-millionaire.
Exactly. Like, why would you not want to keep like on the path that you're on right now when the numbers don't lie?
Well, sometimes, right, but maybe he doesn't understand the significance of 23% of his income. If that is in fact the case, he wouldn't be the first person to email me his information and be wrong. That, that is the information.
Oh, yeah.
That seems pretty aggressive for a state pension. So anyway, that's one major element. Now, the other part is housing. Because whereas right now he's still sleeping under the Harry Potter poster in his bedroom, his childhood bedroom.
Why do you gotta go?
Mom
Why-
Dukes is making him eggs when he wakes up.
You're attacking Harry Potter. Come
Wakey,
on.
wakey, eggs and bakey. Wilhelm, come
I
get
wish
your
I
breakfast.
still woke up to eggs and bacon sometimes.
Bacon. So he's got no expenses. He's got $2,500 a month of positive cash flow to put towards financial priorities, as long as he lives under that Harry Potter poster in his parents' bedroom. So I think there's two major elements that need to be discussed here. Number one, he has to make sure that $2,500 a month is doing really good things, because if he doesn't, when he goes to take on a housing expense of his own, he's not going to know where to find the money.
Right, because he's basking in this really, really unique kind of bittersweet moment of probably not having a housing payment. Like right now this won't happen again until he retires.
Totally.
You
And
know?
so the real question, I think the question he needs to answer, not me, you answer it, Wilhelm, is how long are you going to sleep in your bunk bed? Like, how long are you going to stay with mom and dad?
Right, like if he's really getting serious about wanting to buy a ring for her, obviously, like there are things that follow suit with that. Is he going to live with them until they get married? Are they going to get a place together?
Are they going to play Atari and then he's going to pop down on a knee and say, "Will you marry me, please? Let's go have some mac and cheese. Mom, mac and cheese."
You used this voice in Pete's
Sorry.
Eats last week too.
I did?
Yeah.
I can't help it. So let's say for 12 months, he still lives in the room with LeBron James posters in it. Let's say he does that for 12 more months.
Yeah.
That's $2,500. I'm going to do the math for you. It's
Thank you.
25. No problem. $2,500 per month for 12 months is $30,000.
Beautiful.
If he does that, if he commits to living in a twin bed for 12 more months, he can use the $30,000 to do the following. Maybe pay off his car, which is an $8,000 car loan.
Bye.
Buy a ring, which we'll talk more about in the next segment.
Bling bling.
Put some money into savings.
Woo, save that money.
Oh, I thought you were going to go ka-ching, ka-ching.
Oh, ka-ching.
Because it rhymed with ring.
Thank you for pausing, though. It's been kind of fun to be the peanut gallery.
And then pays off a third of his student loan. He could pay off a third of his student loans, get a ring, pay off the car, and put money into savings over the next 12 months, which would be a monumental accomplishment.
Dare I say he's making money move.
He's making money moves. Absolutely. Like Cardi B.
Aaliyah out here just got it.
Aaliyah understands my role in hip hop culture. By the way, if you have an Alexa at home.
Oh my God, this was amazing.
Yeah, if you have an Alexa, what are those? An Amazon Echo or a Dot, ask Alexa who created the dab. And when you do this, you will get the longest explanation of a hip hop term that you ever thought was possible. And I only know this because my son Theodore discovered this because he loves to dab because he's a 6-year-old and asked Alexa, and it is the most ridiculous answer you've ever heard. Moving on. So here's the answer, Wilhelm. You have to tell me how long you're going to live in the room where your mom still folds your socks. That's what we need to know, because that determines the rest of your path. If it's another 2 months, then maybe you use the next 2 months to save for the ring. If it's 12 months, pay off your car, which then lessens your monthly expenses, all that stuff. But man, if by the way, when he does get married, he should take his time buying a home, especially if he wants to buy land. If you're from Southern Indiana, you would never say, I want to buy land. You would say, I'm going to get some ground.
Ooh.
Think about getting some ground. That's what people say in Southern Indiana. So that's the factor. He should probably rent for 2 years so he and his soon-to-be new wife can save a down payment, also increase their emergency fund, and just get comfortable sharing finances with another adult who was raised by a person who didn't raise you, which is a complicated thing to do. So Wilhelm, pump the bees, yo. Pump the brakes, take it easy. Don't try to do this all at once. If you give it 12 months of you sleeping in the room filled with Lego structures that you built when you were a wee tyke, then that's good. A full year will get you $30,000 of capital with which to work. Coming up after the break, how much ring can he buy? That's all next on the Pete the Planner Show. I'm Pete the Planner.